Okay, so I think we can start, and let me kick this off meeting. And so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new session of Sitecore User Group Jaipur. And in today's session, we want to introduce Vincent Louis, who will be presenting with this topic. And he's a solution architect and having a great experience in Sitecore, and he's also a Sitecore technology MVP since 2020. So I'm going to hand over this session to him. So I think you can start now.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to quickly share my screen, start my presentation mode as well. Okay, thank you, Sumit. Welcome everyone. Good evening. Where I am, I'm from Melbourne, Australia. So it's now it's actually 9 p.m. now where I am. Yeah, it's my topic today is something that I presented at the Cycle User Group conference at Melbourne, Australia, a month ago, early this month actually. It's my first in-person event since the pandemic, so I thought that was pretty cool. Saw a lot of familiar faces, people who I haven't seen in a while as well. So that was a fantastic event put together by Sitecore and the Sitecore User Conference and committee as well. So yeah, it was a fantastic event. My topic is on Composable DXP with personalization from a CPA Australia perspective. So quickly introduce myself. I'm a solution architect digital channel in CPA Australia. My focus at work is on Sitecore and the personalization technology strategy as well. I'm also a Sitecore technology MVP since 2020. So this is my third year being an MVP. Quick agenda. I'm going to quickly go through who and what is CPA Australia. I'm going to, showcase what our member experiences are like. And we are currently embarking on a massive digital transformation journey. One output out of that journey is we have a big enterprise data platform. I'm going to also touch on what our Composable DXP journey has been like. There's we've also done some personalization as well. So we've done a first phase of personalization. What did we learn from this website rollout and embarking on personalization? And also I'm going to quickly touch on what's next and how we are going to get there as well. So who and what is CPA Australia? So CPA Australia is it stands for Certified Practicing Accountant of Australia. It is an international interconnected member organization. It was founded in 1886, so more than 100 years old. Their main vision is that we want to be a partner for the accountant professionals operating in the Australian marketplace. So we want to help people from university graduates who study a Bachelor of Accounting into their accounting career, and most hopefully into the retirement. And we also have some members who maintain their CPA membership and CPS status until they actually pass away as well. We do have around approximately 2 to 3 phone calls a year from accountants' spouses and children, sometimes children, calling us to say, "Hey, my parents passed away, or my partner has passed away. Thanks for everything. He was, that he or she was very proud to be a CPA throughout his entire career. Yeah, we would no longer like to renew the membership, obviously, because partner or parents have passed away. There are more than 170,000 members in over 100 countries. We do have 19 offices operated globally, and we do have an office in India, in New Delhi. And we focus our membership members in the office from India region and Pakistani region as well. Like I said, we're a professional membership organization. We focus on continuous education in all stages of an accountant's career. Okay. There was a fun fact also is that some of our CPA members also help correct exams. And then something similar to what we are also doing in the Sitecore community, where there's also community engagements as well. So that also counts towards being contributing as a member, very similar to what we're doing in this Sitecore space as well. So there are multiple levels of membership. So the first tier is associate member. Basically, an associate member is usually someone who has just started out with their accounting career, and then they decided that they would like to become a certified practicing accountant. So there's a 6-year membership period that they can take to complete 6 subjects and provide them with the relevant experiences. And once they have completed the 6 subjects and the relevant experiences, they will graduate into becoming a certified practicing accountant, which is CPA. So basically completing the program above, and then immediately the person will get a title as a CPA. It's a very prestigious title in Australia, especially in the accounting industry. Everyone basically knows a CPA in Australia. They would have either worked together with a CPA in their organization because their organization is a big organization, or if they have to uh, file their tax accounts, income tax account every year, chances are they would have hired a CPA accountant as well. Another tier of membership, we call it a fellowship CPA. So these are really highly experienced CPA with more than 15 years of experience in accounting, finance, or business. And they are really high regarded CPA members usually. So as a part of being a member, a professional member, it is very similar to what doctors and nurses in the medical field will have to go through, where they need continuous professional development. So they are constantly studying, keeping themselves up to date with the latest industry, with the latest trend in accounting and finance. So there are 120 hours. They have to complete 120 hours of CPD hours in a 3-year period. Each year, they must commit a minimum of 20 hours. So some of these CPD include attending conferences and events, webinars, seminars, workshops, in-house learnings, tertiary and professional body courses. So if they decide to take on master's degree, excuse me, they can also write technical publication articles and or go into specific research and showcase their what they are researching. Mentoring is also part of it as well. So our excuse me, our digital transformation journey that we've started embarking on 2 years ago. So it was a strategy first developed in 2019, and the delivery started in 2020. The discovery phase was complete in 2019, and this was all done before. So the delivery was all done before the Sitecore big acquisitions for all the composable DXP stack. So this is box server, Musen, reflection. It was all done before then. So as part of this strategy, we've come up with a web strategy. Based on the web strategy as well, part of the strategy, we also come up with a concept of enterprise data platform. So we call it an EDP, but it's basically the same as a CDP, where we get a 360 view of our customers, which in this case is our members. We get a full 360 view of them. Another big part of it is massive CRM upgrade and uplift from Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2016 on-prem into Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM plus finance and operations. And we are also updating our single sign-on to using Okta as our customer identity access management platform. In this presentation, however, I'm only going to focus on our web strategy and our EDP. So the web strategy was developed by, led by our own CPA experience design team. What they have found out of this discovery phase is that the search experience on the website is very poor. So one key take out of it is we need to update the search experience, because we had users, instead of using the search function on the website, they will actually go to Google instead. We also need to implement a centralized search, not only to return our website content, but also return all our technical publication articles, which is on a different website, still in Sitecore, and also our events coming out of our event management system, and also our online learning courses, webinars coming out of our online learning management system. The PDFs and documents were also not indexed properly because it was running on Sitecore 9, running on Azure Pass. So out of the box, in Sitecore version 9.0, it was not opening up the PDFs or any of the Microsoft Office documents and try to crawl the content inside because it was in operating Azure Pass. So none of those were indexed. There was also a branding uplift exercise. So this includes our color theming, our logo change. There was also a big focus on the tone of voice in all our marketing materials and all external facing materials as well. We were also trying to develop a single point of entry for users via a dashboard or a portal. So when someone logs in, it takes them to a dashboard because it gives us a very good opportunity to actually help them not only funnel into our other channels and other web applications, but it also helps us to produce some form of personalized content as well, depending on which cohort of users they are in. So we have also identified our member journey stages and their staging lists as part of this strategy. What we've discovered. So we've discovered that there are actually 5 stages for an associate member studying to become a CPA. So they all have their own individualities. I won't go into too much detail into it, but basically they are first is usually joining. They wanted to become a CPA, so they will join as an associate, and then they will start the program, start their studying, and then eventually complete all their exams, and finally graduate and become a CPA. What we have also identified is that during this journey, for an associate member to become a fully qualified CPA, there are people who actually struggle, the ones at the bottom, especially the ones at the bottom in this slide. So one of them we call ASA for life. So that means they are an associate for life. So they're just going to pay for that 6-year membership just to say that, oh, they are CPA. There are people who struggle because they fail the exams multiple times, as an example. There are people who are stalling, so they just need motivation to start studying. So these 3 groups of users are the ones that we are trying to help them along and making sure that they complete all the exams. So there's a lot of members involved in here. We did a quick calculation the other day that if we manage to help these members complete their program and graduate into a CPA, the amount of money just on a membership, ED membership renewal basis is in some astronomical figure if they retain their membership until they retire. So there is big incentive for us to actually help these people who fall into these member segments in here. We've got another journey for accountants who would like to obtain a public practice certificate. What that allows them to do is to operate their own accounting firm, or if they become a partner in one of the big consultancy firms or a financial institution, then they will need to obtain this certificate. So we would like to help them out to let them know what they need to actually obtain this certificate as well. So there's basically they have to study for it as well. So these are the different stages in here that we've identified as well. And same thing, what they need, with the segment. So there are people who are only a sole practitioner, who are partners in a small firm, mid-tier firm, or big 4 firm. And then we want them to succeed as well. So we can tailor various content or various courses for them to actually take. A very high level diagram of the different components that we've got in our digital transformation journey. So one part is that obviously Sitecore is a big part for our website. So we're going to operate 2 websites out of Sitecore. Obviously, there's personalization involved. There's web analytics involved as well. Another one is federated search. So we're using Coveo for federated search. And then Okta is our identity management solution as well. So we've got in here, we've got our EMS, our LMS system. We've got a data warehouse or enterprise data platform in here as well. So yeah, these are just some very high level components of our web channel at the moment. So composable DSP stack, what does that look like? So our content management system is using Sitecore 10 at the moment. So Sitecore version 10 initial with SXA and JSS installed, and the application is using React.js. Our federal research platform is Coveo, but we're using the Coveo JavaScript UI framework. Our integration layer consists of MuleSoft and also various other custom built APIs that we've built inside CPA and all hosted in Azure. Currently, our forms are using Sitecore forms and some custom build forms as well. Our marketing operations suite at the moment is just Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Our customer identity access management is Okta. Our CRM currently is Microsoft Dynamics 2016 on-prem. We also use a very popular feedback and heat mapping tool called Hotjar. Our web chat is by a company called Nice in Contact. And then our MarTech stack, okay? So we're using analytics, we're using Adobe Analytics. For personalization A/B testing, we're using Adobe Target, and our tag manager is Adobe Launch. So you would say that, oh, why are you using Adobe and not using Sitecore XP, using XDB, etc., etc., etc. But because it is a composable stack, we have to take what is the most suitable component in the composable DSP to suit the organization. Okay. But fear not, Sitecore is also friends with Adobe. So if you go to the Sitecore Marketplace website, if you look at and then type in Adobe in the marketplace, you'll find that Sitecore also connects with the Adobe stack already. Some of the integrations might be light, but some of them are quite extensive. This one, especially the audience, this one is quite extensive. So what are we doing with personalization and testing? So you may have heard of a saying on crawl, walk, run, and fly. So these are the different stages that usually when someone is delivering or when an organization is delivering a massive piece of digital transformation, or releasing software in the different phases. So, when we first launched a website, we were in the crawl phase. And I believe right now, in my opinion, we are in the middle of the walk stage at the moment. So as part of personalization phase 1, we have delivered 12 use cases, completely relying on visitation data or previously logged in or current logged in user via Okta. So at the moment, it's all completely only performed on our Sitecore website channels only. So we have 2 Sitecore websites right now. Personalization is only on those 2 websites at the moment. So I'll go through the themes that we've done. So the first one is displaying predefined relevant content based on the membership. So the way we implemented it was using some really basic JavaScript to show and hide the relevant content for a particular member who have logged into the website. So the 3 to 4 different types of different cohorts of member. So if you come in, you're an associate member, we'll show you a particular set of content. If you're a fully qualified CPA, we'll show you another set, etc. Field number 2, this is a really tricky one for us to implement. It's basically a call to action messaging to display the different types of urgency message for members who have yet to renew their membership after they log in to the website. So we have an annual renewal membership that the organization runs within a period. So from end of November until June is our renewal period. So we're trying to get members to renew their membership, basically. This implementation was very tricky because it relies on the browser to detect the renewal status of a user rather than going through like a 360 view of a user because we had some issues trying to retrieve that message, trying to reach the renewal status of a particular user. Number three is content setting from two different sets of totally different design section of our website. So the hypothesis was that a better design section or campaign to drive more member acquisitions to become a CPA, basically. So what we do is we do an A/B test, we do a split, and then we perform a simple redirect to users to a really nice looking type of page with really relevant information, or we have a control as well that basically looks like a just a landing page with some sub pages in it, not much description, where people actually have to click in to actually look at each section of the relevant information for themselves. However, the results was inconclusive at the end of the testing period due to so many external factors. It just goes to show that better UX doesn't really mean that you will win all the time, because we were trying to get people to become members. This is a big commitment into the career. So we probably need to spend more time and focus on the human element instead, using human-centered design instead. Number four is using geolocation to determine the relevant content or recommendation. So one of our use cases like store locator. So imagine if a person in India wants to contact the office for some support, or they just want to call up the office to ask some questions, they hit on contact us instead of seeing the Australia or the head office contact first, and they have to find their way around to find out where India contact details are. As soon as they hit that contact us, the India office is presented to them straight away. Another use case that we were using was, depending on where that user is geolocated, it will direct them to the correct storefront of our online management system of the courses that we are recommending, based on the next personalization use case in number 5, which is recommending learning courses based on the membership. So if that person is from Australia, we will take them to the Australian storefront. If that person is from Europe, we will take them to the European storefront, etc. Number 6 is we recommend learning courses based on a particular category of publication article they are viewing. So for example, if they are viewing an article on Microsoft Excel, then some of the Excel learning courses will be recommended at the bottom of the article. Number 7 is an interesting one. Basically, we are displaying popular articles in the last 30 days that people have been browsing on our technical publication website. But we've kept it to less than 90 days old, based on the visit numbers of the articles as well in the last 30 days. We also have articles, funnily enough, that are more than a year old, but they just keep getting good visits all the time. So we were trying to cap it to articles that are only 90 days old. Quickly show you some of the screenshots to showcase what we've done with our personalization use cases. So this one is all about the renewal messages. Depending on how engaged that user is on the website, we will show them different types of messages. The last one here is for a person who have actually renewed. So we will say, instead of having a renew now CTA, we'll just say we'll have a totally different CTA for them. So as soon as they log in, they see on the dashboard straight away on the very top. This is the A/B testing I was talking about, where good UX does not necessarily mean that you will always win out and always have more conversion. So on the left-hand side is the control. On the right-hand side is the campaign, nicely designed page that we've done. But yeah, like I said, the control one, but just way too many external factors. More human-centered focus design needs to be done. The next one is all the course recommendations. So, if this is for a person in Australia, in Hong Kong, in New Zealand, Malaysia, Europe. So there's it's hard to see, but basically there's a different currency in here, depending on where the user is from. And then also when you click on it, it goes to the correct storefront as well. So quickly, what happens and how we have implemented these over-the-top type personalization testing. So on the initial load of the site, so someone coming into the site on the initial load, you get a loader. So pretend that, imagine you are sitting in a theater, in a movie cinema, where the curtains have shut on the screen, and then Adobe Target comes in to do over-the-top personalization, rejiggles the HTML DOM, change some of the inner HTML or inner text inside the HTML, and then open the curtains. So this is what is happening right now. And because this is a React JSS application from the Sitecore JSS React starter kit, so this is a single page app experience. So when people navigate around the different pages, we also still do that, the curtain shutting the screen, rejiggling HTML. But this time, when people are navigating through the pages on the site, we only do that effect between the header and the footer. So quickly go through our enterprise data platform, our CDP, if you may call it. So what we try to do is we were trying to uplift our analytics insights capability to align with our strategic goal, providing better value for our members and enhancing our enterprise insights as well. So we engage Deloitte Digital to design, recommend our EDP as well using Microsoft Azure services. We want to modernize our data platform, so create a solid foundation to a very scalable platform. We want this to be our single source of truth for all the integration that comes off it as well. So all our other various integrations will be using this really, really fast enterprise data platform as a source of truth to integrate with. Consolidating all the data using integrated data model. So we were using various integration tools to help create digital assets by consolidating the data. So things like we were creating like summaries, how many people in total have purchased this particular course or attended this event, as an example. Self-serve analytics with Microsoft Power BI. So we are training our internal business stakeholders who want to use Power BI to draw up their own analytical report instead of asking for someone to actually produce that report for them. So they can go in there, look at the data that is available to them, drag it out to the report, create their own report, or create their own dashboard. There's a big data governance piece around it to ensure the data quality is correct. And then we also have a data governance council with data stewards to actually determine what data should look like. I'll give an example. Let's just say an article, we've got categories of accounting, or finance or accounts. Some people may use abbreviation with FIN instead of the word finance. Some people will use financing, accounts, accounting, accountants. So what we want to do is using this data governance model is that we drive the entire organization to use the correct terminology to categorize our assets. Another part of it is ensuring our data quality is intact. So a really quick example is our phone number. So previously we had an issue with phone numbers because each web application may have a different phone number regular expression validation. And also people over the phone, talking to someone over the phone, may not enter the phone number correctly in the correct format. So as part of this data governance piece is that all the data that is ingested into the EDP gets a cleanup. So our phone numbers are all in the same E164 format. A future state, what we're going to do in the future. So we want to onboard other various data sources, including Adobe Target. So at the moment, our enterprise data platform, if you may think of it, is a really, really fast cache copy of our CRM. So all your reporting, everything is done through our enterprise data platform instead of interrogating the CRM. But however, because they are all transactional records, so if we try to understand what type of courses have people purchased by using the EDP as an example of how many people have purchased a cryptocurrency type course, it will be impossible to find at the moment. So we need to expand our data sources to contain more metadata that describes the causes or the events or whatever people are purchasing as well, so that we can enrich and understand that user a little bit more. We also want to apply machine learning models to help understand our members. So the applying various hypotheses to train the data. What we have done recently is trying to figure out when a member is about to fail the exam. So based on various hypotheses, we put it in a machine learning model to start chewing through all our member data. And what we found was that we've managed to identify a set of users that are about to fail the exam, the next upcoming exam. So what we've done is we proactively actually reached out to them to actually provide them with some study guidance and various study guides to actually help them pass. So the people who have actually utilized the resources that has been recommended to them, 80%, 85% of those people who were about to fail actually managed to pass the exam. So, member experience, member satisfaction, KPI, obviously will go through the roof by just performing simple actions like this. Drive personalization outcomes with recommendations and next best actions based on the EDP data that we understand from a 360 view of our members. So the idea is that we have all smarts and recommendations all done within this EDP, so that we actually do not need to use our MarTech stack to help us make any decisions. The MarTech stack can then be really light touch to only deliver the experience or deliver the final recommendation, so that we can just render out those recommendations. So there's no smarts, no decision logic needed to be made in those MarTech stack. The other one is that we want to use the EDP as the source to index and generate relevant search queries with our copy of federal research as well. So at the moment, it's done through various CSV files. They're all ugly. It's not a single source of truth at the moment. So just some tech that we need to tackle. What have we learned? So one thing that we've done with our Sitecore side is that we're using Sitecore JS in integrated mode instead of headless mode. So everyone will be jumping up and down and say, "Oh, why aren't you doing it in headless mode? Why are you using integrated mode? Sitecore has recommended using headless mode. Why are you doing this?" What we found is that it is actually in integrated mode. It is actually a blessing in disguise, because it simplifies our infrastructure without using a headless rendering host. We will also piggyback off the MVC request pipeline in Sitecore to implement some of the scenarios that were way tricky to implement if we were to go with headless mode. Some examples. So Okta for public website users logging in, that part was quite difficult to do in headless mode if we were have to decouple using a BFF layer. We have some protected paywall content pages in Sitecore that would have been extremely difficult to implement also in headless mode. We use Coveo for Sitecore Connector, where the Coveo indexes the full HTML when the page is published. That made it a little bit easier to do when we're in integrated mode. Also, various types of security and also integration with our APIs. We were actually sort of hardening the Sitecore infrastructure instead, and then sort of hiding behind it with our security just by doing simple private endpoints in Azure and doing some other simple IP whitelisting as well that allows us to hide behind that, using Sitecore and hide behind it. So that was quite handy. However, the next roadmap is to look into moving into XM Cloud, not confirmed, but moving into XM Cloud at our own pace when both Sitecore and CPA Australia technology, when we are doing it out, when we are both ready, when we understand how to implement the features correctly in XM Cloud, and when we are ready, basically. And also, by not going to headless mode, we did not waste our time trying to do headers and then moving into XM Cloud using Next.js with static site generation. So the headless rendering host would have been a regret spend. The other thing we've learned, obviously, is that personalization is really, really, really difficult. At the start, we were doing conditional rendering using the Sitecore rules engine. So that was a tactical solution that we had to deliver something simple at the start, even though Adobe Target is our target state. But what we found with personalization that is hardest is actually talking to our marketing team, talking to our CX and our UX, uh, making sure that our data is ready. Data ready is really, really challenging because of the data governance piece that we did not manage to do properly, uh, because that is being delivered by the enterprise data platform. So, it was really, really difficult to do. Using taxonomies to categorize the data and content. So as I said before, content is king. We've got a data governance council, so that should all of those should get cleaned up very soon. Oh geez, how about using the right tool for the right job? What does that really mean? Right. So if we were sticking with using the right tool for the right job, we would miss so many opportunities to actually learn how our members interact on our web channels. So you don't want to miss those key parts of the year, because once you miss it, you actually wait for 12 months in our scenario. So what we were doing is we were using various tactical solutions just to get some learnings out of it, just to get some feedback, just to see how our members are interacting on the website using various tactical solutions. So don't be afraid to go tactical just to get some learnings out of it. And then once you get the learnings out of it, do it properly, implement it properly. Security architecture, PI, data governance is also really, really difficult. Just want to call it out there. It's very difficult. Another really cool feature we found was that once we implemented Coveo federated search, it was one of the most popular feature on the website for our members as well as our staff and as well as any type of public users coming to the website. However, we do not have enough dedicated staff to help tune the search results. It's another skill set that the business also has to undertake and also has to learn how to operate Coveo as a business user to help tune the search results, boosting, driving campaigns, and then understand personalized search. And there's a whole bunch of setup and a dedicated person needed to actually operate that. We also implemented Coveo in a really tight time frame for the project. Coveo Atomic Framework, which is a version of Coveo component but in React.js, was not released until half a year after the website is launched. So really quick demo on what the search looks like. So someone types the word Excel in here, comes up with a whole bunch of search results across our various web channels to do with Excel. So you see at the moment you're looking at some courses that are operating in Singapore, and then we've even got a slide in here to allow people to filter out how many hours they are with on a CPD on CPD hours on the courses. Oh geez, sorry. So quickly skip to around here. So in here, sliders again, and then we will clear that. We've got various facets on the left hand side, as you can see as well. And then there's some publication articles in here that's got the word Excel in here that shows up. Events to do with Excel in here, right? Or having the word Excel or excellence in there. Okay, so this is how we have power our federal research. Is really, really popular feature on the website. This one basically returns results that are in PDF files and Microsoft Office documents in the media library in here. So it indexes all the content inside PDFs. What's next? We've got a specific user identification exercise to funnel all our member logins into one specific channel. And what we're going to do is we're going to build out that user profile in Adobe Target and Adobe Analytics so that a person going through our various web channel we can have an understanding of what type of member is going through our other channels. Think of it a way as back in Sitecore XP, when you are trying to enrich a Sitecore experience profile. Okay, so we can then, using this funnel, when someone logs in, we can then call up our Sitecore EDP, which has got a 360 over user, and then using all of those data that we've got in the EDP to enrich that user. So it's a really, really powerful feature in here. Next step, we need to investigate the feasibility of using Sitecore Content Hub. We have a view of having a centralized shopping cart in the future on our website. So how is Content Hub going to help us? I have a feeling it will help us tremendously. We need to decouple our BFF layer away from Sitecore. Like I said before, we are currently hiding behind Sitecore for our security infrastructure at the moment, to proxy our APIs off. Problem is that it is expensive to scale out. When it scales, you have to scale the whole Sitecore with it, with traffic, and it is also very slow to scale. By decoupling that into an ASP.NET Core application, we can actually scale that very quickly by putting it inside AKS. We also need to decouple some of the hard dependencies with Okta as well, and put some of those in our BFF layer, and keeping the Sitecore Okta integration really light on. We also want to do personalized search in Coveo as well, so that when someone types in a search query, Excel again, immediately Coveo understand that person resides in India and only show them courses or events that are held in India only, but not in Australia, as an example. We also need to migrate away from using Sitecore Forms to using Adobe Marketo instead. As we know, Sitecore Forms does not come with XM Cloud as well. So we need to migrate that away very shortly. So that's already happening. Sitecore XM Cloud. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna look into when we can get in there. The idea is to reduce our infrastructure support needs that are required, and also don't need to worry about cycle upgrades. Well, that's the theory anyway, right? But I'm not going to go into the benefits of XM Cloud in here. Using API to retrieve our decisions, next best sessions, all from EDP. So use that to drive all our decisions, so that all it has to, as a course recommendation again, or events recommendation, all it will do is it will just service up and say, hey, recommend course 123, course 456, course ABC to this user, and then we can then just render and query using Coveo to actually just service the content back to the user. So it's a much lighter touch, and that also means that we can potentially downgrade Adobe Target Premium into just Adobe Target Standard. Migrate into the Coveo Atomic React.js framework. So instead of using the JavaScript UI framework, we move into a more React-based framework, so that just to keep it consistent. We also need to migrate all applications away from using Google Analytics into Adobe Analytics. So I'm not sure whether everyone knows, but Google Universal Analytics will stop working in July 2023. So we may as well migrate all the applications that we've got control over from Google Analytics into Adobe Analytics. So yeah, basically these are our partners that have helped us along the journey. I won't go through it. I won't go through that with you. You can reach out to me on the Sitecore community channels. I'm on Slack, Twitter, Stack Exchange as well. You can find me on these channels. And yeah, thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we have one question.
Sure.
So that is in the chat window. Let me read it. So, any reason to use Covio here, and have you faced any issue or recommendation for it?
Um, no issues with Coveo as such, apart from the fact that we could not use React.js because our project time frame was really, really short. The reason why we use Coveo was that one, there's a site called for Coveo connector. All the HTML scraping is already all done, built into the connector. It was actually quite easy to implement from a indexing perspective. It was very easy to implement. The other one is that all the connectors that are available, all the documenters that are available, all the SDKs that are available is so extensive. They provide you with really, really good training. There's machine learning, relevancy, personalized search available that we want to move into in the future. So it basically is a no-brainer. It also scales really, really well. It's also, one of the best, I guess, best federated search platform there is out there that just has a full support from indexing to presenting content, presenting search results back out to users. That's the reason why we chose Coveo. I hope that answers the questions. Sitecore Discover, obviously, that was not, when we launched the website, it was really funny. On the day we pressed the button to go live on the website, the press release came out that Sitecore has acquired Box Server. So yeah, the timing was obviously very off, and the Sitecore Discover was a couple of months after that. So yeah, so we were sort of stuck with using just Coveo, and we currently do not have plan to move away from Coveo either. I hope
Okay.
that answers that question. Yeah. Any more questions?
Anyone have any questions? I think we don't have more questions, but thank you for this amazing presentation. It's really uh, knowledgeable session.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Slack, on Twitter. Yeah, I'm always on Slack, so yeah, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, sure. We definitely reach out to you if you have any question.
Cool. But yeah, don't feel it. I think I just want to quickly put out there, like Composable DXP, is all about picking the bits and pieces that is suitable for the organization. So I don't like the word using best of breed, because if depending on who you ask, if you ask Sitecore people, they will say Sitecore is the best of breed. If you ask Adobe people, they will tell you Adobe is the best of breed. Right? The reason why we chose Adobe, I forgot to mention, is that because there is a really good integration with Dynamics 365. So that's the main reason why we chose Adobe. One of the main reasons. Yeah.
Thanks, Vincent, and thanks for the great presentation.
Thank you for attending, everyone. It's a
Yeah.
pretty big crowd for a local user group. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Vincent.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good night to you. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye bye.
Good night.